Only 3 days remain and we shall get the entire story revealed to us. How's it going, guys? My name's Nick, and today we're going to be dissecting the truth behind Chapter 5. As most of you are aware by now, Chapter 5 is going to be released in 3 days, and while yes, that is exciting, it is also bittersweet. Once Chapter 5 is released, that means it's over. The story will be complete, and I have to be honest with you, I'm a little sad. A part of me wants this to never end. I have had a blast making theories and speculations on this game for almost a year now. Heck, the last Bendy video I did is the most viewed video on my channel, and I want to thank you all for making that happen. And I will say that that video was far from right, which thanks to you guys for pointing out to me in the comments. For example, I made the speculation that Gauntlet Boris was Wally Franks, but you guys pointed out in the comments that the source code said that the Boris is not Wally but rather Tom, aka Thomas Connor. And while yes, that was one of the many mistakes in my video, I plan to make it up right now. This time, I'm going to release to you what I truly think will happen in Chapter 5. First, let's start at the end of Chapter 4, with Alice getting the Sword of Truth pushed through her dark heart, and the reveal of Allison Angel and Tom Boris. At first, we are led to believe that they are here to help us, but are they truly here to help us? I would give you the answer, but I think Henry can give it to you better. In case you are unaware, the Meatly recently started a new channel called Joey Drew Studios on YouTube, youtube.com/Joey Drew Studios. At first, it was just showing off the game's progression to the final release date. But these past 3 weeks, there were 3 mysterious videos. All of them were titled with 3 question marks, but the parentheses were numbered from 1 to 3. What these videos contain is recordings from Henry after the events of Chapter 4. These are very important because it shows what happens between the events leading up to Chapter 5, and shows the relationship between Henry and the 2 comrades. Let's play the first tape.
Things happening down here. Monsters, demons, angels. And right now 2 of them are holding me prisoner.
Notice how he says 2 of them are holding me hostage. That implies that both the Thanos Boris and Allison Croft are keeping him captive. So does that mean that they are bad, you might be saying from the other side of your phone screen? Well, no. Actually, and before you say why not, let me play the next tape for you that explains everything.
It's me. It's Henry. It's been a while since I last recorded. Mostly been spending my days doodling, passing the time as best I can. I heard my captors arguing today. Seems they still don't know what to make of me.
Notice how he says that they don't know what to think of him. That implies that they don't know whether Henry is a good person or a bad person. What caught me off guard was why would they think this? Why would they see a normal human roaming the halls and immediately think that, oh, this guy seems sketchy? I mean, look at him. All flesh and no ink? Yeah, must be trouble. That doesn't make sense unless, of course, we've already been transformed by the ink. Think about it. What happens after you die in a game? The game doesn't just restart you at the last checkpoint, no, it plays the sequence. Now you might be thinking that this is just some special effect that the Meatly added in for some fun, but I want to think it means something. Remember, up to this point, everything the Meatly has added has amounted to something. So if this meant nothing, then why would the Meatly add it in the remaster versions of chapters 1 through 3? Because it actually has something to do with the story. Before we go further on this, I want to ask a question. Who is Henry? Now you might be thinking that that's an odd question to ask, but who is Henry exactly? You might say he's an old pal of Joey Drew, and yes, that's true, but who is he in the events of Bendy and the Ink Machine? What I think this scene is hinting at is that Henry has been transformed by the ink already. Think about it, the only time we knew that Henry was human was in chapter 1 when he first arrived at the studio. But what happens at the end of chapter 1? Henry faints due to unknown circumstances. I don't know about you, but it's kinda odd that Henry would just pass out of nowhere unless he was, I don't know, succumbing to the ink. Also, we have another clue in chapter 3, coming from Susie of all people during the elevator scene. Susie states that she knows who Henry is.
No, Henry, I know who you are, and I know why you're here.
Well, of course you should know him. It should be obvious considering that you used to work together. Why would she not be able to recognize him? Unless maybe it's because he's been transformed by the ink. Even Sammy states it.
Wait, you look familiar to me. That face.
That also confirms that while we were transformed by the ink, we haven't completely transformed. In other words, we were in the process of transformation. It's hard to explain it, but by the events of chapter 4, it is safe to say we have completely transformed. Enough to the point when the two lifesavers at the end of chapter 4 imprison Henry because, quote unquote, they don't know what to think of him. If you want more proof, think about this. When you've been hit by an enemy, what happens to your screen? It gets covered with ink. Now you might be saying, what does that have to do with Henry being an ink monster? To which I say it has everything to do with Henry being an ink monster. First of all, from my 20 plus years of experiencing being a human, which I will say has been most of my life, if not all of it, well, at least I hope so. I'd be kind of weird if I find out that my ancestor is a cat or something. But when I get hurt, I start to lose blood, not ink. And while yes, this could have been due to the art style, I am a firm believer that this is what the Meatly intended the whole time. The answer was right in front of us, but we didn't see it. Which leads to my next prediction, is that we are going to be revealed to be the good Bendy. I know, but just think about it. Along with the new death scene, we now also spawn in front of a Bendy statue every time we die. That can't be just pure coincidence. And this also adds up to the Bendy demon's behavior. Now you might be saying, what behavior? Well, when we encountered Bendy for the first time, he wanted to kill us. He wanted to make sure we die. But in chapter 4, he seems a lot more passive, almost like he's purposely avoiding us for some reason. Maybe because we are the good Bendy. And you might be saying he just wants us to kill Susie, but from what we've seen thus far, Demon Bendy does not care at all what Susie does in her spare time. I mean, if he really wanted to get rid of her, I'm really sure he would have done it well before you showed up. So the Demon Bendy pretty much knows that you might defeat him. But that aside, he knows he's eventually going to have to fight you, which leads to where we are in chapter 5. Now that that's covered up, we must assume what happens next, and according to the chapter 5 trailer, we can pretty much piece it together that we are going to encounter the demon for the last time and end this once and for all. As we have seen from the previous chapters, the ink machine is going lower and lower and lower, to where eventually it's going to reach the bottom, the final floor of the studio. So, at the beginning, we are going to be in a cell by our kidnappers, Allison and Tom. Once we gain their trust, they will release us and help us on our quest to free the studio of this curse. Upon which we will eventually run into our old pal Joey Drew, as hinted by the teaser of Joey Drew's office. Then, we will fight our way to the ink machine, and finish this once and for all with a good old-fashioned Bendy versus Bendy fight. This battle will decide the fate of the studio. If evil Bendy wins, aka Joey Drew, then the studio will still be damned to eternity in the depths. But if good Bendy, aka Henry, wins, then we shall free the entire studio from Joey's curse. And that's what I believe is going to happen in the finale of Chapter 5, the end of it all. Although it's going to be sad to finally see the book close on this amazing game, I can't but help but feel happy for as far as we've gotten as a gaming community in this game. I wanted to thank everybody who was watching this video and supporting this channel to promote this next video, and I just can't wait to play the final chapter for you guys. I will be playing that on the day release. I hope you guys can tune in to watch. It will be a fun time, guaranteed. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video as well. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment down below. I do not guarantee that anything in this video is true. This was all speculation, and I hope you guys can take it with a grain of salt at the latest, at least. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye.